Harbor Freight had another 25% off coupon for the holiday Labor Day, and I took advantage of that. I actually got a coupon that made it not just Labor Day, but the day before. So I got all this stuff before Labor Day, so I didn't have to stand in the lines. And I went to, I think, like 5 different Harbor Freights throughout the day. I had to make a trip home. And I used the trailer again in order to get this stuff because I wasn't sure whether, well, I know for sure that some of the stuff wasn't going to fit in the car very well, or it'd have to go in the back seat. And I wish I would have known the size of it because I probably could have gotten these in the back seat, but I took the trailer anyway. And this wood contraption that you see on here, I built in order to raise up how high it is so it would clear the wheel wells. Had to go pick up a queen size bed, and it was not going to work. For the spacers, I used the blocks that came with the toolbox over there. All the big blocks that were supporting it underneath. That's finally on the ground, and one of the subscribers is asking for a tour, and one day I'll do a real nice tour of it. I don't have all my tools here. This is my original set, which is, a lot of it's been liberated because it's being used elsewhere, or I didn't have enough of them. I know I didn't lose all these, so I don't know why I'm missing all of these. I did lose a couple of these, unfortunately, so they ended up being replacements. I bought a second one of these. This toolbox is not very big, but that's going to be another video. And so is this. The tire balancer and wheel mounting, or tire mounting machine will also be another one. I had to do a lot of stuff to get those just right. But the Harbor Freight stuff that I picked up was a bunch of little stuff. Some of the stuff that I didn't really need what I wanted. The first 3 things that I got were things that I needed, and that would be these jacks, or I shouldn't say jacks, the safety stands. And these are going to be used for the lift, the scissor lift down here. I'll have them up front, so if anything happens, it's going to either go sideways or backwards, but away from wherever I'm working, which is more than likely I'm going to be working in the front. If I'm working in the back, I'll have them in the back, obviously. Also, because it's going to be up in the air, I bought this in order to drain the oil because didn't really have any other way of doing it, and I may end up draining the oil or doing oil changes for a lot of the neighbors once they see all the equipment that I have in here. When I went and picked this stuff up, I took off out of here. I was tired, did not get much sleep the night before. I left this garage door open. When I came home, I flew right up in here because the garage door was open. I was freaking out, and I'm running through here looking to see. Luckily, I have a lock on there, so they wouldn't be able to get in there unless I left that unlocked as well. And they were nice enough to lock it, but I went through everything, and nothing was missing. It looked like nobody even came in here. Luckily, it was the early hours of Sunday morning. I think I came home somewhere a little after 10, and I think most people were still in bed. I'm not on a road that people travel through. You know, if you're coming here to visit somebody who lives here. So I got very lucky, but I've always wondered just how good of a neighborhood I really live in. You know, would my neighbors do something if I wasn't there? And that's one way to find out. I wouldn't advise it, but I found out the hard way that I live in a good neighborhood, luckily. So I was very happy to find that out. So I got 2 of these. I had to flip this thing around because originally these were right here in the wheel wells. So I had to flip that around so I had more space so that while I'm traveling, if I have to hit the brakes, it's not going to go forward. And that thing's not even touching there. And it's not going forward. I had this thing strapped down pretty good. The other things I picked up were some stuff that, you know, I probably don't need, but 25% off. I was just looking for anything. And a paper towel holder also for the toolbox, which I did have my AC stuff on the other side. I did have it on the rubber too. Let's see if that rubber came back to life. You can still see a little indent right there, but no big deal. So I'm going to put it on this side probably. Doweling jig. I'm hoping I know exactly what that is. It's basically to line up when you want to join two boards together. I think could be for something else. I'm sure I'll find a use for it. This guy here is another woodworking tool, and you just couldn't beat the price on this for brass. And I don't know what wood this is. I'm no wood expert, not yet anyway, but it looks nice. So I can't remember what this was, but whatever it is, it's 25% off of that. Picked up a bunch of screwdrivers because I was tired of looking for one and couldn't find one sometimes, or I'd find one and it's missing the bits. So now I'll have one for just about every room in the house based upon the other ones that I already own. It'll be pretty close to that, and even some outside. This guy I was going to get one of the last times I was shopping, and I didn't. I've got, this is that extending one where you can adjust how long it is, and it's 72 teeth too, so the ratcheting on this thing is so much better. I mean, just that little bit. I'd have to go like probably 3 teeth, I think, distance on this one to what my Craftsman is. And I have, yeah, I got his little brother there, which is a quarter and a 3/8, which is kind of weird. But same thing, hopefully it works. Other people have raved about these, and when I need it, I'm going to need it because it does 2 things that are wonderful. One is in tight spots, you just have to turn just that little tiny bit just to be able to get it. And the other thing is that you can extend it for leverage. Well, you know, if you can extend it to different lengths, and you're going to take up all the space that's available in order to get the leverage you need. And if I need more, I'll just put a pipe on it, but I don't suspect that's going to be a problem. So, and eventually these trays are going to come out, and I've got, or maybe they won't, to be honest with you, because I have a tool cart, and that's where most of that stuff's going to be on, I suspect. Or maybe that tool cart will finally be for whatever I'm working on. I take off, like the starter, the alternator, or something else, and it goes on the cart, and my tools stay in here. I don't know. It's whatever flows easiest. So the last item I purchased was this guy right here, and he's a 1/2 inch. My hoses, I believe, have all been 3/8, and he's also 50 feet. I don't really need a 100-foot hose anymore. I actually used to have a 50 and a 100, but somebody with their high heels stepped on it, punctured my 50. So now all I have, unfortunately, is the 100. And this is from Harbor Freight back in like 2004. This is an old hose, and I cannot believe it has not busted. I don't drag it on the ground, but you know, it's been in severe heat. It's still pliable. I paid, I don't even remember what I paid. It was $50 or less. It was quite reasonable, especially considering the competition back then. And it has lasted me for 13 years now, and would still keep going, I'm sure. But again, it's only 3/8, and it's 100 feet, and I don't need 100 feet. All that does is it restricts my air because it's a small diameter, and it absorbs some of my air because that 100 feet of line expands. So it's not ideal, and I'm hoping that I'm going to see a significant increase in the amount of time air travels from there to here. But you know, it may travel faster because now it was shorter. This may end up hurting me. You know, when I start thinking about fluid dynamics, I don't know, but this is a closed system too, so it may be different. I don't know. We will find out based upon trial and error. But that's my Harbor Freight haul for September. I would have bought more probably, but at this point I almost own one of everything. I'm running out of things to buy at Harbor Freight, which is a good thing. And so eventually I'll have to stop buying things from there, which is pretty much the point I'm at now. So I have to put these together, and I've got a ton of stuff I have to do today.